an impromptu, well, I guess a second impromptu edition of the Bobby Hester Show, June 15th, 2023. How's everybody doing today? I got the bug. Like I said, I did my interview with Church Militant yesterday, and I don't know, it kind of got me refired up to just hop on the microphone, hop on the camera, and give some commentary on the cultural goings on. Kind of staying away from politics. Like I said, it's a bunch of filth and sewage that we can't do a whole lot about. So, like I said yesterday, you got to stop driving yourself crazy with things you can't control. But there are a lot of cultural things that are going on that I thought I'd weigh in on. I've been very silent these last 2 or 3 years. And right now, pretty much the most talked about man on the planet is Mr. Andrew Tate, the top G, as he calls himself. And he's developed quite the following. It took him about 7 years to become an overnight success. He's been working for a very, very long time to achieve the level of fame and notoriety that he has. For those of you who don't know, long story short, he has a background as a kickboxer, a world champion kickboxer. 100%. It is the month of the Sacred Heart of Jesus that we honor in the Catholic Church. So, I love the background as well. But, he was a world champion kickboxer for a very long time. And then he had another claim to fame on the Big Brother show in the UK. He was canceled from that show due to actual sexual allegations. I believe this is back in 2016, 2017. Then he got involved with the Red Pill Manosphere. He came up with the moniker of Cobra Tate. He branded himself as the king of toxic masculinity. He just flew headlong into those accusations of, toxic masculinity, which I agree with. I don't think all masculinity is toxic. It's not, but there are brands of masculinity that are toxic. Not just the overbearing, wanting to beat everybody up, the real aggressive kind of masculinity. But I also believe the opposite type of masculinity can be very toxic as well. These passive, beta males that end up being school shooters because they're mad at women for not, wanting to date them. When in actuality, they aren't the kind of man that women want to date, but they hate women because of that, and they shoot up schools or they become the R word. There's all kinds of different brands of toxic masculinity. Just like I believe there's lots of different brands of toxic femininity. Okay, I believe women that act too masculine, okay, that's a form of toxic femininity. Women who try to act like men, right? Or women who are very cunning and manipulative, that are very conniving and deceiving, that try to take men to the cleaners financially, that purposely get themselves impregnated. They have meal ticket babies. They have golden uteruses where they try to impregnate high net worth individuals. They try to get impregnated by those kind of guys. That's a form of toxic femininity. So there's all kinds of ways that you can be toxic with your gender. There's not one particular way that you can be toxic, and there's not one particular gender that can be toxic. Although I should say there are only two genders. But anyway, getting back to Andrew Tate, he got involved with the Red Pill Manosphere. That kind of blew him up. That kind of gave him a lot of notoriety because, the Manosphere caters to lots of men who want to up their game. They want to level up. They want to get better with women. They want to be more confident. Again, those are all good things to a degree, all good things in moderation. Now, I don't believe that you should use those pickup techniques to fornicate and, sleep with a bunch of women and things like that. There's all kinds of, schools of thought on that. Maybe I'll do more shows on that in the future. But the fact is, last year, this isn't true now, but this was true last year. Andrew Tate was the most Googled man on the planet. He has lost lots of steam. He has lost lots of popularity because April of last year, an investigation was begun by the Romanian authorities about human trafficking. And I truly believe, we don't have proof of this yet, although there is a lot of things that the authorities have on him, I think. I think Andrew Tate has known that he's been guilty this whole time. I think Andrew Tate has known that he's going to go to jail for a very long time, even when he was in prison the first time. He claims that he's innocent, but I think that he has been on a media campaign to try to get around as much as he can to try to basically cement a legacy for himself. Because I think he knows he's going to go to prison. I think he's trying to make as much money as he can right now before he goes. I think he's trying to get as much fame right now before he goes so that he can leave as a martyr. I think he wants to be a martyr. And I'm going to show you some compelling evidence that that's the case. Now, we should start with some evidence. So let me just get right to it. I'm just going to get right to it. Let me share my screen here. And let's kind of make this the whole screen. Give me a second here. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of serious, guys. So in the Hindustan Times, I mean, India doesn't really care either way about Andrew Tate, right? I mean, they have no dog in this fight. They have no reason to try to, tarnish him. This is the Hindustan Times, okay? And this was released 2 days ago, okay? It says, while the case is still under investigation and yet to reach trial, Romanian prosecutors have officially filed charges against the Tate brothers. Now, this whole time, and it's great seeing you again, 2K. It's great seeing all of you again. Now, this whole time, there's been this notion of there's no charges that have been filed, right? And I'm trying to get my screen setting here to where I can do kind of a split screen. There we go. This whole time, guys, the Tates have been saying we've been thrown in jail, we're under house arrest, and there's been no charges that have been filed, right? There's no charges. Well, they finally filed charges. So that's no longer true. They officially have charges against them, okay? And, it says, while the case is still under investigation, prosecutors have officially filed charges against the Tate brothers. Now, it's the opinion of some, which I agree with, that the Romanian authorities are a very ruthless bunch of people. And I believe that they're trying to cause as much suffering as possible to the Tate brothers. Because think about it. They put them in jail for 3 months. From December until March, they put them in jail, right? Then they released them on house arrest. They did all this without filing charges yet. They're waiting to the absolute last minute of June because we have until the end of the month, until that 6-month period of when the Romanian authorities charge people to be over. And I think they waited to the last little bit they could to finally charge them. So this whole last 6 months they've been suffering, and now they're finally charged. They're trying to drag this out as long as possible. The article continues. In a stunning development, Romanian authorities have escalated the charges against social media influencer Andrew Tate from human trafficking to the more serious crime of human trafficking in continued form. Prosecutors claim that this new charge carries even graver implications than the initial counts of trafficking that Tate and his brother Tristan were facing. So this has just got much, much worse, guys. This has just got a lot worse. Trying to share the right screen here. Wow, they have made this so much more complicated since I last got done streaming. Wow. Okay. Now you can see it. So they've just made the charges much, much worse, guys. Much, much worse. They have upgraded the charges, which means they're in even more hot water. The Tate brothers, along with 2 Romanian female suspects, are currently under house arrest as they await trial for suspected human trafficking, grape, and forming a criminal. I have to use that keyword, or I could get, whatever can happen. To exploit women sexually. These accusations have been vehemently denied by all 4 suspects, who continue to maintain their innocence. While the case is still under investigation and yet to reach trial, Romanian prosecutors have officially filed charges against the Tate brothers and their associates. It's official now. So this narrative, we haven't been charged yet. You've been charged now. And they waited to charge them. They kept them under arrest, uncharged, to, like I said, drag it out as long as possible. The trial is expected to commence in June, where prosecutors will present the evidence against them. Now, this whole time they've been saying that there's no evidence against us. Maybe I can do a separate video. There's this attorney that actually read some evidence, some pretty damning evidence. of Tate saying, I recruit women to do illegal things for me. They help me commit tax evasion, all kinds of stuff that he has that just incriminates the guy. Andrew Tate, a British U.S. citizen renowned for his massive Twitter following. So we all know that. We don't have to get into all that. But DICOT is the organization that's in charge of all this. They're putting their hooks in them, guys. They have also added not only additional victims that have come forward. 4 different British women served in papers a day or two ago. But they've also added another co-conspirator, a man by the name of Vlad Abuzik. In a shocking twist, DICOT also disclosed that they have initiated a separate criminal investigation against a Romanian man closely associated with the Tate brothers, Vlad Abuzik, who was often seen in social media posts with Andrew and Tristan Tate and 2 other individuals, is being accused of human trafficking and forming a criminal group to exploit 7 women. 7. So it's getting more serious, guys. And they use what's called the lover boy method. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the lover boy method, but let me show you right from the DICOT website. I want to get into some videos too, but just give me a second here to show you the DICOT website. Now, I had to translate this from Romanian into English, but it says injured persons were recruited by misleading them about their intention to enter into a marriage/cohabitation relationship and the existence of feelings of love, known as the lover boy method. So in other words, what these traffickers do is they entice these women into being their digital prostitutes under the hopes and under the guise that they'll make them their girlfriend or that they'll marry them one day. It's called the lover boy method. Now, I don't put that beyond the Tates to do because, like I showed you yesterday in the video, they used what we can call the lover girl method, where they bilked millions of dollars from men. Andrew and his brothers and other men were communicating with lonely, desperate men posing as women. They would literally put their women in camera. The women would be typing, and the guys would think that they're talking to the women when in actuality they're talking to Tate and his brothers because they thought that they were better than these women at being, digital cam girls, and they knew how to work these guys, and they knew how the male mind worked. So they used the lover girl method. So why would it be beyond them to use the lover boy method? Something to think about. Guys, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Got a lot of people in the room. Hit that like button, guys. Let's get some engagement going. Like I said, I thought I'd come off the grid for a little bit just to weigh in on some stuff. So I'm not going to bore you to death with continuing to read things, but I do want to show you some videos of what I think Andrew Tate is trying to do. I feel like he's trying to craft this narrative of himself as a martyr. I think, like I said, deep down, he knows he's going to go to jail for a very long time. For a very long time. And I'm gonna do some commentary on a video that he did. It's called his emergency meeting broadcast. He did this yesterday. And let's get into it. So let me go straight to his site. Okay, we're going to stream this. We're going to share audio. I want to make sure that I can share audio. Okay, there we go. All right, guys, so I'm going to walk you through this video and kind of give some commentary on it, give my spin of what I think is going on. Again, like I said yesterday, I think Andrew Tate is a genius marketer. I think he's very, very good at what he does. I think he's very good at engaging the powerful emotions and pulling the heartstrings of young men to get them to jump on board his cause. And again, a lot of what he says is great, guys. Getting in the gym, being the best version of yourself, being in the best shape, getting your money right, being confident with women. Those are all good things. Those are all things that these young men need to be hearing. But like I said yesterday, it's truth mixed with error because he weaves in other things that are very self-destructive if you follow. And we'll get into that in another video. So in this particular part of the emergency meeting broadcast, he basically showed a clip, a montage of women who are coming out saying that they're innocent, some of which I think are the women that are actually accused in this scheme, saying that Tate's a great guy, that is innocent. So let's kind of hear from that a little bit.
I'm glad
Also, guys, language warning. If there's kids in the room, you know the deal. Shoo them away. It's an adult program.
This trigger, which has nothing to do with this country, was pulled by Romania, because now it's the Romanians who will deal.
For those of you who don't know, this is Andrew and this is his brother Tristan, and they're in their compound, the Tate compound. It's this little kind of factory kind of neighborhood in Romania. The inside looks much better than the outside. It's all optics with these guys.
With the situation, and I trust the Romanians.
Absolutely. And talking about support, I got another video here that I wanted to play about the kind of support we're getting, and especially from women around the world. Let's play this one here.
Let's start off by saying Andrew Tate would actually fall into the category of being a high value man because he's good looking, he's successful, he's in shape.
I believe a lot of the stuff that he says is very positive. It's very much about looking into, self-reflection. To me,
100%. I agree with all that. Look the best you can, be the best you can, make it. I agree with all that.
Andrew Tate was one man who stood up for what he believed in.
As he mentions in his final message, his most viewed video was how to fight depression. He's empowering young men to take personal responsibility over their mental health, over their physical health, how to become.
The only thing the Tates do I don't like is they talk over their videos, and it makes it kind of hard to hear what's being said.
A better man.
Andrew has never hurt anybody.
He tells the truth, and the truth is we are living in a society that
Now, this is what is known as this is a tactic that's used for people that are in deep doo-doo. It's called recruiting character witnesses. Okay, so like if you're on trial, if you're in trouble, if you're getting ready to go to jail, one of the strategies that your legal team will do is they recruit what are called character witnesses, right? Like you ever apply for college and you want like a letter of recommendation from your old football coach, or well, that's kind of what this is. It's called character witnesses. And it's smart for them to try to be women, right? They got millions of young men that are character witnesses that think Andrew's the top G and he's their internet dad and all this kind of stuff. That's going to be kind of discrediting if they tried that. So if they're being accused by women of sexual crimes against women, then of course the logical step is for them to recruit women character witnesses, and that's what they're doing here.
wants to demasculate men, and everything that he teaches is to empower men.
I was lucky enough to have met this man, and I can say that the person that I was
Lessons all the men out there as well. If you live true to yourself and live true to God,
exactly as I expected from person.
See, it's distracting. Let the women talk, man. Let your character witnesses shill for you.
Is not a human trafficker. I can say now with confidence. These guys are not.
They're never going to hate you for that. Don't listen to the Matrix. Don't become a feminist. Don't become a cuck. Be a man.
Be a man. Be a man. Don't be a feminist. Don't be a cuck. Guys, I'm telling you, he's a caged animal. He is trapped in a corner.
Definitely say that he's such a nice man. He's very generous.
People are saying that I'm a victim.
Bro, we can't hear your character witnesses, man. You got to let them talk, man. Like, let the video play, and we got you. We hear you.
I'm making a public request for the court to remove me as a victim from the case file. Neither me nor Beatrice are victims in this case.
So they're free top G. There's a hashtag. So he's got literal women that are their alleged victims that are pleading to DICOT to remove them as victims. Now, again, we don't know what kind of evidence there is that says they are or are not. We are going to find that out because according to the Hindustan Times, right? According to the Hindu Times, it just got a lot more serious, and we're about to see a lot of evidence.
Thank you for
that. Absolutely. And sometimes when you're true to yourself.
Now I'm going to let this play out. Again, I'll stop and pause for commentary, but I'm going to let this play out because, again, Tate is trying to set up this narrative that he is this martyr, and that he's a martyr for the Matrix, that the Matrix is coming after him. But in actuality, I truly believe deep down he knows that he's guilty. And he's trying to craft his legacy before he goes to jail. Because face it, folks, once he's locked up in prison, he can't be live streaming. He can't be doing emergency meeting broadcasts. He can't be going around on podcasts. He's going to be a prisoner. So he's trying to put out as much content right now as he can to form public opinion of who he is. And he's trying to get the public to buy into his innocence. And the trial hasn't even started yet. I don't know who his lawyer is, but whoever his lawyer is should be telling him not to be doing this stuff. Literally 2 days after the Patrick Bet David podcast, when he did that interview, which I believe is up to almost 9 million views now, he got slapped with additional charges a few days after he did that podcast. He's being his own worst enemy right now. But let's hear what he has to say. Let's hear him talk.
It may seem like the Matrix is trying.
And just keep in mind, guys, Andrew Tate is one of the most articulate, persuasive speakers, orators that you'll hear. He is extremely talented. He's got a very golden mouthpiece. He's very articulate. So keep that in mind. And that brings in a lot of people too.
Trying to convince you that if you're a weak little cock and you're a feminist and you're a little coward, that women will like you more. No.
So I got to make sure you guys know what the red pill verbiage is. So a cuck is a man who's basically willing to raise another man's kids. A cuck is a guy who is basically can't please his woman, fails her in the bedroom, and she secretly cheats on him and gets pregnant by another dude and brings home a baby that, you know, is not really her husband's baby or her boyfriend's baby, but she makes him think that it is. Okay? That's what a cuck is, for those of you who don't know.
Women respect men who stick by their principles and their beliefs. And the principles and beliefs of a man are always to do what he is supposed to do, regardless of how he feels. You must train when you don't feel like training. You must protect when you don't feel like.
See, this is all great. I agree with everything he's saying here. It is generic self-help advice that you'll hear a lot of other places. He's just really good at delivering it.
Protecting. You must be a good man. And when you're actually a truly good man and a high-value man, this is something I absolutely realized in jail. What did I say to you? I think we were in jail about 2 months. It was one of the harder days. It was during Ramadan, and I lost 30% of my food to cockroaches.
The hard days.
The hard days. And unfortunately, I had one meal a day, but the meal came during the sunshine. So I had to try and protect my food from infestation until the sun went down. And I remember losing most of the food for the day, and I was particularly upset because I'd trained so hard, my muscles were aching, and I couldn't get any food. I was only eating once a day. Once a day. And I said to you, I said, Tristan, I have no problem suffering if the people I love are not suffering. My children are taken care of. The women I love are taken care of. My mother is taken care of. Everybody around me is fine. Even if they've removed me from my life and locked me in a jail cell, everybody I love is taken care of, and is protected and is living good.
By the way, let me pause this real quick because I want to kind of give you guys another context to this. So in the manosphere, you'll hear a phrase, you'll hear 3 words that are used quite frequently by most red pill manosphere content creators. It's a phrase called high value man. We've heard that a lot. Now, it's been used for decades on the different forums, on some of the more obscure red pill podcasts, but it was popularized a couple of years ago by a YouTuber by the name of Kevin Samuels, who passed away of a heart attack last year. But Kevin Samuels really kind of made that term mainstream. This notion of a high value man. Now, as a Catholic, okay, who has studied, you know, theology and philosophy and history and apologetics for decades of my life, there's nothing new under the sun when you're Catholic. You've seen it all, you've heard it all. For example, when a Jehovah's Witness comes to my door on a Saturday morning and says that Jesus is not God, okay, that's the heresy of Arianism. That was refuted all the way back in 325 AD at the Council of Nicaea, right? There are so many heresies and errors and incorrect ways of thinking that as a Catholic, I've made myself familiar with, that it all kind of runs together on you after a while. It all becomes very familiar to you. So when I heard this notion of a high value man, the first thing that it reminded me of were the errors of Friedrich Nietzsche. For those of you who don't know, Friedrich Nietzsche was one of the most influential German philosophers of all time. Hitler and the Nazis drew very heavily upon his work. And back in the 1800s, Friedrich Nietzsche, and just so you know, Friedrich Nietzsche is the man who popularized the phrase, God is dead. You guys ever hear that term that atheists like to use, God is dead? Well, you can attribute that phrase to Friedrich Nietzsche. Now, Friedrich Nietzsche, the man who said God is dead, died in an insane asylum. Okay, that was his end. He died in an insane asylum over a woman who broke his heart. He lost his mind. He was an atheist. He didn't have God. So when he experienced rejection, he didn't know how to handle it. He pretty much self-destructed in an insane asylum. But he wrote this work where he talked about the Übermensch, which is German for Superman. And here's kind of a definition of what the Übermensch is. Again, this goes back hundreds of years ago. It says in philosophy, the superior man, the Superman, what the Red Pill Manosphere calls the high value man, who justifies the existence of the human race. Superman is a term significantly used by Friedrich Nietzsche, particularly also in Sprach Zarathustra, although it's been employed. So basically, the superior man is the man who completely masters himself and, get this, strikes off conventional Christian herd morality to create his own values, which are completely rooted in life on this earth. So I want you to think about that. According to Friedrich Nietzsche, the quote-unquote high-value man, the Superman, the Übermensch, which is German for Superman or superior man, is a man who completely was a man with superior potential, who completely masters himself and strikes off conventional Christian herd morality to create his own values, which are completely rooted in life on this earth. So when Tate refers to himself as a high-value man, he fits this definition of the Übermensch perfectly, because he talks about being a superior man, get in shape, be confident with women, become a millionaire, become a top G, get your Bugatti, right? He does all that stuff, but he casts off Christian herd morality. Now, that's kind of a pejorative term, Christian herd morality. Andrew Tate was Orthodox, okay? He was Greek Orthodox. I think he said he was Russian Orthodox. He left the Christian faith and became a Muslim. And I think that he's what's called a cafeteria Muslim. He doesn't fully live out Islam. He still fornicates. And, you know, he still does a lot of things that even Muslims have come out against and said that they don't approve. But he rejected Christianity and, you know, in favor of becoming what's called a superior man. So I want that to frame the context under which you see this, okay? So let's go back to the video here. Let's go back. So just keep that in mind. This whole high-value man thing, it's already been defined hundreds of years ago by Friedrich Nietzsche, okay? Let me get back to sharing here. Okay. Wait, let me make sure you guys can hear it. I'm struggle streaming. I know it's been a while. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry about that.
I am a man. Is taken care of and is protected and is living good. I must suffer because I am a man. I am the head of my empire. I'm the head of the clan. Of course, I will suffer, but the people I love are not suffering. This is what God has bestowed upon important men since the beginning of time.
Not just important men, all men. The men in the Titanic, as the boat was going down, about to be sucked into the icy cold water, some of the last thoughts in those men's head, I know, was at least I saw my daughter and my wife get on that boat.
Amen.
Absolutely. I'm happy to plunge into this.
100% on board with all that. See, they say lots of truth, but you got to keep that ear for the error. But everything they're saying is 100% dead on.
Ice cold water, because there they are on that boat, away from danger. Everyone we love and everyone in the world who we care about was taken care of. And I said,
so they're basically preaching sacrificial love, right? That you're supposed to love your woman sacrificially, right? But again, and again, that's partly truth. But here's where the error comes in. They only preach sacrificial love up to a certain point. Okay, their sacrificial love has a limit. They're very choosy. They're very selective on how they sacrificially love, because even though you're going to hear 5 minutes of awesome preaching about sacrificial love, they're not willing to love sacrificially enough to only love one woman. They reject monogamy. They're all about having multiple women. They're not willing to love sacrificially enough to love only one woman, though. See, they're very selective with how they sacrificially love. That's something to think about.
Andrew, would you rather us both be at liberty, but someone else in our life suffer? Mom suffer? Our kids suffer? The mothers of our children suffer? No. I'm glad it was me. I'm glad I was the one who was suffering and everyone else was okay, because that's what being a man means.
When you're a man, absolutely, you're right. It is our job to suffer so the people around us do not suffer. And that's why if you're a man and you're waking up every day and you're not trying your very best to be important or upgrade.
But the people around them have suffered, though. They've had their dads locked up in jail for 3 months, and their dads are about to go to prison for a long time. Just so, for those of you who don't know, Andrew Tate, he has multiple women with multiple children. He's got more of a clan mentality. And unfortunately, his choices with the kind of people he surrounded himself with are going to land him in jail. You know, listen, when you run a webcam business, when you're a pimp, when you have a business that thrives on digital prostitutes, you lose God's protection. Like, you open yourself up to a world of hurt, a world of diabolical activity that is going to ruin your life. And unfortunately, he sowed the wind, and now he's reaping the whirlwind. You know, you can't get into that dark underworld of webcamming. Yes, it's legal, but that doesn't make it moral. Abortion was legal for a long time. Does that make it ethical? What if pedophilia became legal? Does that mean that it's right to do? So just because something is legal doesn't mean that it's right to do, and it doesn't mean that you can entitle yourself to God's protection and his blessings on your life if you do it. Because there are certain things we do that we are slapping God's hand of protection away from our lives if we do those behaviors. Things that he clearly warned us against in the Judeo-Christian principles, in the scripture and sacred tradition. God warned us against doing certain things, committing certain kinds of sins, running certain kinds of businesses. And when you step into that, you're opening yourself up for a world of hurt. You can't expect God to protect you. So even though he's weaving God's name in here and there, I'm telling you guys, he's going to jail for a long time.
Upgrade yourself or upgrade your character, or you're lacking motivation, then you have a serious problem, because it is your job to be capable of dealing with the insurmountable pressure which God is going to put upon you, so that when you suffer, everyone around you does well.
Okay, but Andrew, God didn't put this insurmountable pressure on you. You put it on you. Okay? God didn't tell you to start a webcam business posing as women when you're really a guy and you're fake typing these guys and they're sending you all your money. God didn't put that on you. You opened yourself up to the underworld of internet prostitution. You surround. What if you are being Me Too'd? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that he is innocent. He is innocent of all these charges that the Romanian authorities have against him. Will you still surround yourself with dangerous women that are going to hashtag Me Too you and accuse you falsely of grape? I have to say grape because of the algorithms, right? So you still put it on yourself. You can't, don't play the God card. You can't play the God card, man. You know, somebody smokes 3 packs of cigarettes a day and they get emphysema and they get diagnosed with lung cancer. You know, they can't get on YouTube and say, I'm a man and I'm rising up to all the pressure that God's putting on me with this lung cancer. No, you put that on yourself, bro. Choices have consequences. Like it says in scripture, when you sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind. And what a whirlwind it is that these Tate brothers are reaping.
Well, our lives are set up that even if they throw us in a dungeon today, everybody we love will be okay forever. And that is what's most important.
Define okay, though. They'll be financially okay. But are they going to be spiritually and emotionally okay when their dads are in prison forever, rotting in a jail cell, fighting with cockroaches over food? Are they really going to be okay? Define okay.
That's the most important thing.
That's success.
And that was absolute comforting. That was absolutely comforting in jail when we discussed that. And we said, everyone we love is okay. You and I just have to make it through this. And that's absolutely and utterly comforting. And if you're a man sitting at home right now, you need to sit and say, okay, if they plucked me from my life, if they picked me up and threw me in a room and locked me in a jail cell,
which can happen.
Which can happen to anybody, especially as they continue these matrix attacks on masculinity as a whole.
Which can happen to anybody that surrounds themselves with webcam people for years and open themselves up to that underworld. Yes, that can happen to anybody. Play with fire and you got burned, man.
Would your wife have a roof over her head? Would your children eat? Would your family be okay? Think about these things. This is what you're working for. You're not working to make money so you can buy a Lamborghini. You're working to make money and you're thinking outside of the box and you're becoming your best version of yourself. So all the people around you will always be okay no matter what happens. It is your job as a man to suffer. And we did our job fantastically, absolutely not as we should.
And I agree. It is your job. It is a job as a man to suffer. But are you suffering from things that you brought onto yourself? Or are you engaging in what Catholic spirituality calls redemptive suffering? Are you suffering for Christ? Are you suffering through no fault of your own? That's what the cross is. When Jesus said that we're to suffer for him and take up our cross, that is through no fault of our own. That is because if the world hates you, it has hated me first, Jesus said. If we do the right things and we live out the gospel, we try to live a life of virtue, we are going to suffer. But that's through no fault of our own. We're suffering for doing the right thing. Unfortunately, Andrew Tate is not suffering for doing the right thing. He's suffering for doing the wrong thing, which if you guys watch my video from yesterday, he did some very wrong things back in his past with his webcam business.
We always will.
And we always will. And everybody around us was okay. And that is extremely comforting in times of hardship because we're built for suffering. We were absolutely not built for suffering. No matter how close I came to crying inside of that jail cell, I knew all the people around me were safe and all the people around me could eat. And that's all I cared about. I used my phone calls. When I would call other people and they were asking me how I was, I'd say, we don't want to talk about me. How are you? Are you okay? Are you okay with the media pressure? Are you okay?
Yeah, we shouldn't talk about you because it's your fault you're in jail, man. You should be asking how your family's doing. You got taken away from them for choices that you made in your past, man. You put them in that situation of suffering. So you would be a selfish, piece of garbage if you made it all about you. You should be asking how okay they are.
Are your bills paid? Do you have money? Or can you eat? I'm in a jail cell in Romania. I'm making sure that everyone I love is okay. I don't need their support. I don't need them to sit and worry about me. I worry about them. I sat in a jail cell making sure I could fix the problems for the people I love outside in the free world from a dungeon. That is what a man does. And you must prepare and set up your life for that. You must be prepared to be plucked from life and understand that everybody around you who once relied on you will still be relying on you, even when you sit in that jail cell. It's still up to you. You are still the man of the household. You are still the top G of your life. Only you. And if you don't pay the bills, who's going to do it? Your wife's just going to what? Go get a job, get like 5 jobs and raise your kids? How's she going to do that? You must be prepared for these things. That is what you're working for. So if you wake up every day as a man and you say, I don't have motivation to become strong. I don't want to work hard and get rich.
So now he weaves in generic self-help advice, which again is very helpful. Young men need to hear. But just remember, it's truth mixed with error, right? You're drinking from a poison well if you listen to this stuff.
I want to try and become financially free. What you're saying is that the second you disappear from your matrix-controlled job, everyone who loves you and respected you and relied on you is going to...
Now let's talk about this notion of the matrix, right? He's always talking about the matrix, right? Well, here's the thing. Andrew Tate has created a matrix of his own. He always talks about this matrix that's designed to enslave and destroy men. Well, let me ask you something. For those of you that are familiar with the concept of the matrix, right? It was this fake world that was created by robots to feed itself off of the bodies of human beings. That's what the Matrix movie was all about. Keanu Reeves, he played Neo. His girlfriend was Trinity. Larry Fishburne was Morpheus. Okay. And the fact is, the Matrix was a fake world that was created and was fed off of human beings. I want to ask you guys a question. If I were to run a webcam business, right, and my customers were lonely, lustful men who were looking for online companionship, okay, who were looking to live out their sexual fantasies with somebody over a camera, isn't that kind of a fake Matrix world that I'm creating to enslave men, right? If my customers are sex addicts who don't have the skills to have a real relationship with a real woman in the real world who's able to create real, genuine desire in her for just being the kind of man who you are, being an attractive man that makes her want to marry you and procreate with you and have your babies and be in a relationship with you, okay? If a man is unable to do that, what does he do? He turns to the virtual world of porn, right? He turns to the virtual world of OnlyFans, which I call Lonely Fans, where he will literally pay women $10, $100 just to see pictures of their feet. I kid you not, guys. I'm not using hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating. There are OnlyFans cam girl models that charge men money for pictures of their feet. And they'll say, hey, if you want to see my whole thigh, it's twice the price. $10 $5 for my feet, $10 for my thigh. You want to see my whole body? $100. You want to see me topless? $200. Right? You want me to do things on camera for you that'll get you going? Price just went up to $400. That is how Andrew Tate made his millions of dollars, off of webcam girls selling themselves to lonely men. So who really creates a matrix that attacks and enslaves men? Is it the Roman authorities, or is it really Andrew Tate? He's being very hypocritical when it comes to this whole matrix thing. He's the creator of the matrix. He creates the fake world of pornography with cam girls and OnlyFans and all that stuff. He's the guy that entraps men. He's the guy that preys on sex addicts. He's the guy that preys on sex slaves. Sex slaves meaning guys who are slaves to their sexual urges. Because we don't, we got to wait to see what the trial comes out to see if he has actual literal sex slaves. But if there's anybody who creates a matrix that enslaves men based on a fake reality, it's Andrew Tate. That's what the webcam business is all about, folks. It's a $1 billion industry designed for men who can't cut it in the real world with real women. So you tell me who's creating the matrix.
Starve? How can you live that way as a man? Absolutely not really unacceptable.
Outstanding.
So, Billy, I know we've been friends back and forth. Wow, the comments are all against this man. Sad to see all this hate. Nobody's hating Andrew. I didn't say I hate him. But then your second comment, you said the webcam business was legal, bro. Get your information correct. Billy, do you agree with abortion? And I'm truly asking, do you agree with abortion? Do you think abortion's wrong? Because, you know, abortion was legal. It's still legal in many states, even though Roe versus Wade was overturned. Okay, this is the fallacy called legal positivism. Legal positivism. Okay, just because something is legal, Billy, doesn't make it ethical. It doesn't make it moral. What would you say if pedophilia became legalized? And there are actually certain countries that push to legalize pedophilia. What if pedophilia was legal? What if it was illegal for a 40-year-old man to have an 11-year-old boyfriend? And it was legal. Would you still say, hey, this is hatred? If I made a YouTube video about that, about how sick and twisted that was, would you say, wow, it's sad to see all your hateful comments, Bobby? Pedophilia is legal. No. That's the legal positivism fallacy, Billy. And it's inaccurate. Well, they're two different subjects, but they're under the same genus. They're under the same thing. Just because your argument, Billy, is that just because something is legal, that makes it okay. It's not the same thing. There are so many examples we can think of as things that are legal that are still not ethical. Okay?
In the rain.
And that actually comes on to another point that I want to mention about these other influencers and these other people out here who have influence, the ones which are controlled and taught by them and purported by the Matrix and pushed out there for everybody to listen to. What do any of them even teach? How does your life get?
All right, Billy, let's stay on topic. I don't think I got off topic. I used an example. I think I used an example that refuted your fallacious argument, and I don't think you like that. But let's stay on topic. Let's stick with Andrew Tate and his webcam business, okay? Do you support the idea? And I want to have a conversation with you here. Do you support webcam businesses? Yes, they're legal. Even in America, they're legal. OnlyFans is legal. Digital prostitution is legal. So do you support prostitution, Billy? Do you think that that's okay? What is your opinion of a man who can't cut it in the real world with a real woman? He doesn't have game. He doesn't have confidence. He doesn't know how to relate to women. So because of that, he reaches into his wallet and he pays for sex. Do you agree with that lifestyle? I want to hear your thoughts on that, Billy. Whether he does it in person, whether he pays a real hooker and they go to a motel room and do their thing, or he pays a hooker in front of a camera that he basically pays to see her body parts. Do you support either of those? And I'm trying to stay on topic here because this whole conversation is about Andrew Tate going to jail for things that were related to the webcam business, human trafficking, right? So I want to hear your thoughts on that, Billy. Do you support prostitution, which is legal in certain states, in Vegas, certain counties? Do you support that, Billy? I'll wait 5 seconds to hear your answer. Do you support prostitution? Yes or no? Are you supportive of the idea of men who can't cut it in the real world with real women, paying women for sex and companionship? Do you support that lifestyle, Billy? Okay, let's continue. You're Okay, how did I get off subject, Billy? Okay, you get me back on subject. I want you to steer the conversation back to where you think it should be. So how did I get off topic? What topic should I be talking about right now? Go. This is all in love, bro. Men can talk, right? Men can debate each other. Let's not get emotional here. Let's not attack each other personally here. Let's stay on topic. No ad hominem attacks. We're friends on Facebook. So help me get back on topic, Billy. Tell me how I got off topic. What did you just explain? Tell me what you just explained, because I missed it. Let me go back to your comments here. All you've said so far, I'm going to show each of your comments. Wow, the comments are all against this man. Sad to see all this hate. So you accuse me of hate without any specific examples. Hatred is a very serious accusation, by the way. So if you're going to accuse somebody of something as serious as hate, which is a mortal sin, it's the worst thing you can do to a human, you got to give me some examples of how I'm hating. Number one, which you didn't do. Your second comment says the webcam business was legal, bro. Get your information correct. Okay, so you are on the topic of the webcam business. So is that the topic we should be talking about? The legality of the webcam business? Your next comment was two different subjects, my bro. Okay, so let's keep it on webcam, because you're the one that said the webcam business is legal, and you even put legal in all caps to emphasize that. So I say to you again, even if the webcam business is legal, what is your idea of a man? If you had a daughter, for example, I'm just being hypothetical, I'm not getting personal. Let's say you had a daughter or a sister or a woman you cared about, right? And she's engaged to this guy, right? They're formally engaged. They're planning their lives together. They're planning on their house. They're planning on where they're going to live. And she discovers on his phone or on his credit card bills or however she finds out that he spends $5,000 a month paying webcam girls to show them their breasts and their vaginas and their feet and to do things on camera for his sexual titillation. Okay. How would you feel about a woman you care about marrying a guy who does that? Because you said the webcam business is legal. So would you tell her? Would you tell your sister or your daughter or this woman friend you care about, hey, go ahead and marry that guy. He's a great guy. Yeah, he spends $5,000 a month to blow off some steam. You know, he likes to pay webcam girls to get his rocks off. But he's a great guy, though. You know, he cuts the yard really well. I like the kind of car he drives. You say that the webcam business is legal. So what are your thoughts on the webcam business, Billy? Do you support customers of webcam? If a woman you cared about had two choices, there's one guy she's dating, he's got game, he's got confidence, he smells good, he dresses nice, right? He's a high value man, as the Red Pill Manosphere likes to say. He's got a good job, got a good car, out of debt, good income, and he's got game. He's confident with women, confident enough to win the affections of your sister or your daughter or whatever woman you care about, right? That you want to see with a good guy. That's choice number one. Okay. Choice number two is some guy that spends $5,000 a month paying OnlyFans girls to look at their feet and their breasts. Which guy would you rather? Now it's legal. He's not doing anything illegal, but which guy would you rather see her with? You're going dark on me, Billy. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. That depends on how you raise your children. See, okay. So now you're going off topic. You're evading my question. Do you support the webcam industry? Do you think that the webcam sex industry is a good thing for men? Yes or no? Is it good for their self-esteem? Is it good for a man's self-esteem to pay a woman money to get sexual enjoyment from that digital interaction? Is that a good thing? Yes or no? Do you support it? Just answer the question. But let's keep going. I'll give you time to answer while the video's playing.
Get better from listening to any of these people. What do they teach you? What do they tell you? What do they instill inside of you? When's the last time you've listened to them and felt a fire in your soul or fire in your blood to become a better man? When's the last time you listened to them and thought, I need...
So now, Billy, you're changing the subject. Every man pays for sex. That's not true. And I know where you're going with that. I know where you're going with that. When you say every man pays for sex, you're basically saying that a man has to marry a woman and do all this stuff to get sex. Well, what about guys? What about these red pill guys that don't pay for sex, right? They got enough game to seduce women and they don't even take them out on dates. And they have. What about feminists who believe that they should give away their bodies without restriction, without consequence, right? Back in the 60s at Woodstock, it was pretty easy to get laid for a guy. When the pill first came out, these women were giving sex away like candy, not expecting anything from the men. So I reject that. Now you're changing the topic now, Billy. You're going off topic.
Need to give more money to charity.
Because you still have not answered my question. Do you support the webcam industry? What is your opinion about men who pay webcam OnlyFans models for sex? What is your opinion about it? You won't tell me. You won't tell me.
I need to help people. I need to set my life up so that people I love will always be okay. I need to retire my mother and make money so she doesn't have to work anymore. When's the last time any influencer on anywhere on the internet, any of them, any of these people streaming this garbage on Twitch and Kick and all these shit websites, when's the last time any of them have ever helped anybody?
Okay. Now here's the thing. When you admit on camera, which I showed yesterday, that you made millions of dollars famoosing guys, that was your word. You famoosed guys out of millions of dollars in the webcam industry. Of course, you're going to have millions to give away to charity. But aren't those ill-gotten gains, though? Even though it's legal, right? Even though it's legal. So you support any legal business. Okay. But you're still not being clear. Do you support the webcam industry, Billy? Yes or no? I want to hear you say, I support the webcam industry. Do you support it? Yes or no? Please be clear.
I don't even watch this crap. But when I see little clips of it on Twitter, I sit and say, who's watching this? This is not even teaching anybody anything. You know, we're the only influencers on the planet who don't have to dance around like children or make stupid jokes or pretend.
Okay, so you're being honest. So you support men paying for sex on camera. Point taken.
To be gay when we're not, or do dumb shit and put on a costume, or do something else for fucking views. We don't have to act like clowns.
We talk.
We're not clowns. We just tell the truth. Every other influencer to some degree is a clown where they don't get any attention at all. We can just sit here and tell the truth and be the most Googled men on the planet, the most respected people on the planet, pulling 300,000 people to watch us live by telling the truth and improving people's lives. That's why they're scared of us, because we're not clowns. The second we put on a Pokemon,
they're not scared of you at all. They have things on you that you're going to go to jail for. It has nothing to do with them being scared of you. But he's trying to set up this Matrix narrative when, again, Andrew Tate is actually the guy who creates the Matrix. He creates the Matrix of webcams and false intimacy. That's the Matrix that he creates that enslaves men.
Suit and act like jackasses. They'll stop putting us in fucking jail.
Yeah.
But it upsets me because it shows they don't give a shit about you. Michael Jackson said it. They don't care about us. Listen to the song. They don't care about you. The fact that we're going to sit here and say to you, after this stream, you need to drop and do some push-ups if you're half a man. Every single 300,000 of you, do push-ups when this is over. Wake up tomorrow stronger than you were today. Because we tell you to do that, because we make you a better version of yourself so that you can help everybody around you and become a better man. They want us gone. But if we were fucking clowns, we'd be allowed to sit here forever. That's why they locked us in a jail cell, to suffer, because we try and fucking help people. It's just
And nothing to do with you trying to help people. Nothing to do with it at all. There's so many people that help people that don't go to jail. Are you kidding me? What about all the nuns, all the little sisters of the poor, and all the people that serve the homeless day in and day out? What about millionaire philanthropists that give lots more money than you do that help people? I don't see them going to jail. You went to jail because you ran a webcam business and you surrounded yourself with either shady women that did hashtag Me Too You, that wanted to take you down under false pretenses. But again, you invited that into your life because when you run a webcam business, you lose all of God's protection on both your body and on your soul. Or you truly are guilty of the things they're accusing you of. It's got nothing to do with you helping people. Nothing whatsoever.
Genuinely good against evil. This isn't about some bullshit case. It's not about BBC and Lucy
or human trafficking.
No, this is genuinely good against evil. And it upsets me in my heart that we live in a world now where the absolute evil is out here, not only trying to hurt us, but hurt everybody around us and everybody we try and help. Not only you at home, but also all the people we rely on. We have children. They're locking us in a jail cell, leaving our kids without fathers. For what? What have we done to anybody?
TikTok.
We're going to find out what you did because the trial's going to start in a few days.
Here telling you.
And again, for those of you that are just tuning in, the charges have been upgraded. They're not off the hook. See, they've been spreading a lot of propaganda that, oh, we got off, good news. No, the charges have been upgraded. Victims have been added, and additional co-conspirators have been added in entirely separate investigations that are connected to the Tate. So it's not true what he's saying.
You to be a better version of yourself and to train hard, to be dedicated, and they want to put us in a jail cell? It's disgusting what's happened to us.
Okay, now, see a Cobra Tate film, you see the Matrix. Now, I'm playing this, guys, because, again, this is the narrative that he's trying to set up for himself. And there's a very interesting thing that he shows at the end of this video that, to me, tells me he knows he's going to go away for jail for a really, really long time. And I'll show you what that is in a couple minutes here. Let's just let it play.
I will say this, because I say it on every single podcast. If they lock me up for some insane bullshit, I didn't do it.
Now, he was saying this, in my opinion, knowing that he was guilty. He knew he probably had 6 months to a year to try to trot the planet and to try to be a globetrotter and just get his name out there and his innocence out there. But I think he knew he was guilty this whole time, in my opinion.
The Matrix has attacked me.
The Matrix has attacked me. Now, again, who's the real creator of the Matrix? Remember, the Matrix is a fake reality designed to enslave people, right? That's what the webcam business is. Tate created his own webcam matrix to enslave sex addicts. Always remember that.
Carry on with the trajectory I'm carrying on, they're going to put me in jail because I'm too influential. For the people watching at home, they just need to sit and understand that the system does not make rules for the good of you. that makes rules for the good of the people who make the rules. And a lot of the life paths laid out to the average man at home today is not for their own good. It's only going to lead them to depression and misery.
You're facing some very serious allegations.
I absolutely not really know I'm a force for good because I'm a force for truth. And truth is a good thing. Without truth, we're going to end up in absolute tyranny and slavery, and we're already on our way there because a lot of men are largely forgotten about.
There's no evidence.
Now, again, he hits on these points that pull at the heartstrings of men. I agree. Men are forgotten about. Men are mistreated in society. So he weaves in these things that men resonate with, that marginalized castaway men, or I guess non-high value men, as he would call them, resonate with. I agree with that stuff, but it's weaved in with all these other errors.
Something wrong. Everybody knows I'm innocent.
This is a huge injustice the way we see it. They should not be detained at this point. There are not even charges filed against them.
Ask them for evidence, and they will give you none, because it doesn't exist.
Ask the politicians, ask the judges, you're getting closer to the...
The real Andrew.
I mean the best for people. I want everyone to be successful. I want.
Now, again, this is a form of marketing. Guys, I did marketing for 20 years. And this is a form of marketing that's very effective. There's music, very carefully selected music in the background, very carefully edited video clips that really, they engage your emotions. It's designed to turn off the logical part of your brain, right? Remember, we have two parts of our brain. We have the emotional part and the logical part. Truly good marketing is designed to disable the logical part of your brain that thinks, oh, I can't afford this. I shouldn't buy this. Maybe it's not a fit. And it fully engages that emotional side of your brain. And that's what this video does. Tate is very, very good at doing that.
I think the world's a better place based on the back of strong men who stand up for what they believe in. I think that's how the world's always been a better place. The Matrix programming says the opposite. To be a better place, all the men need to be weaklings and compassionate without any morals or without any hard lines or beliefs. And they must talk in a very...
Now, again, I agree with some of what he's saying. Okay? I agree with some of what he's saying. But when he says that the Matrix want people to be weak and compassionate, to me, those are not the same things. And it kind of contradicts what he just said. Remember, just 5 minutes ago, he was saying that you should suffer for people, right? I'm suffering for my mom. I'm suffering for my kids. I'm suffering for my family. I'm willing to suffer and rot in jail as long as my family's not suffering. Do you know what that means, guys? The Latin word for suffering is passus, like the passion of the Christ, right? Passus is Latin for suffering. The word compassionate, if you combine those words, it means to suffer with. That's what compassion means. So he just contradicted himself. He just said that we're supposed to suffer for people. And then he says the Matrix doesn't want you to be compassionate. That's what it means to be compassionate. It means to co-suffer, to co-passus with someone, to co-suffer.
Very soft.
Again, this is where being Catholic comes in, guys. You got to have that filter of 2,000 years of unbroken apostolic teaching so that you could process these things, so that you could filter out the error and keep some of the truth. Because a lot of what he's saying is true, but a lot of what he's saying is also false.
Way, and we need to be very, very compassionate and very, very tolerant and all these things. But if you look at history, the only times things...
And again, he's using music. He's using scenes from masculine movies like Braveheart and what was the one with Russell Crowe? Gladiator. And all these classical heroic masculine movies of men standing up and men fighting. Again, this is all part of that emotional marketing that's designed to disable the logical part of your brain while fully engaging that emotional part of your brain. And it works really, really well.
When strong men stood up with their swords and said, no, this is mine and this works this way and no one's going to come fuck with it. I think that masculinity and strength is what makes things beautiful. It's what preserves things. It's what you need more of. This is what's missing from you. Masculine men have a duty to provide and protect those they care about. We have a duty to do things we don't feel like doing because we know we're supposed to do them. 100%. And it's your duty as a man to stand up and say, I want to...
Totally agree. Again, he's saying truth while engaging the emotions of these shots from movies. This is the movie 300. I'm a movie buff, so I can instantly see these and know what they are. I'm such a movie buff, I can even hear the music playing and know which score it is. I'm like, oh, that's Hans Zimmer. Like, I love movies.
To be as important and strong and good-hearted and God-fearing as possible, and I need to work hard to achieve those things. If you cannot control your own mind, then you are just a feather in the wind of life.
So, Andrew, your customers... your webcam customers that are sending $1 million to you, thinking that they're sending it to women, are you putting them in a position that allows them to control their minds? Or are you controlling their minds with your webcam sex matrix?
because your own mind is the only thing you can control. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people. You can't even control whether your heart stops beating. You might have a heart attack tomorrow. You can't control anything besides what you think.
There's no such thing as too much masculinity if it's genuinely masculine. Genuine masculinity is not out here to hurt people. It's absolutely the opposite.
That's The Last Samurai.
And when bad things,
Braveheart, when William Wallace was killed. See, I know all these movies. This doesn't work on me, guys. Like, I know what he's doing here. This is brilliant marketing, but it doesn't work on people who can kind of see right through it.
Happen, they call traditionally masculine men. If you need a firefighter, you need a masculine man. When you call the police because of the problem you had, you want masculine men.
100%.
And as soon as a woman,
listen, if I'm in danger and I call the cops, I hope it's two guys. I don't want two female cops showing up because biologically, they're not going to protect me as well as two men who could. Men are bigger, faster, and stronger than women. That's a biological fact. Why do you think all these trans athletes are killing it in the MMA when they join all these women's sports? Because men are bigger, stronger, and faster than women. So I agree with that. But again, it's just this marketing he's doing.
or a man is in trouble, when you look for backup, you look for masculine men. And masculine men have a duty to provide and protect those they care about. We have a duty to do things we don't feel like doing because we know we're supposed to do them. And that's why
100%.
we stayed on the Titanic and died. And the dangerous thing about overly emotional men is that they're dangerous. They're genuinely dangerous. This is what's crazy. All these people who talk about toxic masculinity and how bad it is for men to be traditionally masculine. A traditionally masculine man does things he doesn't feel like doing because it is his duty to do them. He charges into the building because it is his duty. Not because he feels like it, because it is his duty. We're now teaching the new generation of men that they don't have duty and they can just act on their feelings and act how they feel, and they don't have to act as a man should. Do you know what happens when you get men who just act?
And real men don't pay cam whores for companionship, right? Real masculine men don't make you a millionaire because they can't cut it in the real world with real women, and they have to pay your webcam models for what they can't get in the real world. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I just don't agree with why you're saying it.
How they feel. You get school shooters, you get violence, you get rapists. Men who do not control their emotions are dangerous. If you find a man who is stoic, he's not going to hurt people. He's going to sit.
By the way, these school shooters, one of the common patterns of these mass terrorists that do these things, they're all addicted to pornography. They're all on the P-Hub website. They're all about OnlyFans. They have all these digital girlfriends. They pay money because they can't cut it with real women. You guys remember a guy named Elliot Rogers? You guys remember him? He was back in 2014. I think his name was Elliot Rogers, where he made a manifesto in his car saying, I'm tired of you women rejecting me. I'm tired of not being able to date women. I'm going to kill all of you tomorrow. He made a literal, and I agree, he is seeking sympathy. He's trying to craft a narrative for himself before he gets locked up. But this Elliot Rogers kid made a manifesto that he was going to kill all these women that rejected him. And the next day, what did he do? He killed them. Elliot Roger, here he is. Let me see here. I want to show you guys something. Kid was truly sick. Hold on a second. Let me show you something here real quick, just to kind of drive home what I'm saying. It's truly sick. Hold on. Let me stream the right tab here. All right, this is Elliot Roger. This was back in 2014, I believe. Now, again, this is a kid who was frustrated with women, didn't have confidence, didn't have game, just couldn't cut it in the real world with real women. He just didn't have the confidence to just, walk up to a woman and ask her for a phone number, ask her out for coffee, like to get to know you. He wasn't willing to go through the rejection that it takes. He wasn't willing to play the numbers game that it takes to eventually find a woman that's interested in you. And here's what his video manifesto was before he killed a bunch of women.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you.
This chilling video shows Elliot Roger, the 22-year-old Santa Barbara college student who police say killed 6 and injured 13 in Friday's mass shooting and stabbing spree. This day of retribution, a plan Roger outlined in a 137-page manifesto obtained by CNN affiliate KEYT. Roger wrote, all of those beautiful girls I've desired so much in my life, but can never have because they despise and loathe me. I will destroy a family.
Okay, guys, did you guys hear that? All these beautiful women that I desire, but they listen, I'm not being mean here. This is the majority of Tate followers, dude. All these young men that follow the top G, Andrew Tate, that stand outside his prison cell chanting, free top G, free top G. All these young fatherless males, these are the kind of guys that follow Andrew Tate. This is why he was able to rise as meteorically and as quickly as he was able to. Because there are millions of young men out there like Elliot Rodger that are frustrated with women. They're afraid of women. They don't, they don't have that confidence. And again, a lot of that comes from not having a father, right? A lot of them are raised by single mothers, and lots of single mothers can be very toxic. I'm not saying all single mothers, but a lot of single mothers are emotionally toxic towards their sons because they don't know how to teach them how to be a man. Only a man can teach a man how to be a man. And I argue that only a man can teach a woman how to be a woman. That strong masculine influence is very healthy and very powerful, both on boys and on girls, just in different ways. But this Elliot Rodger kid is the avatar for a lot of Andrew Tate young fans. That's how they discover Andrew Tate. They discover him because they're frustrated with women and they want to know how to get chicks. They want to know how to be a high value man, right? And this is what we're dealing with here.
Friend Simon Astaire says Rogers sent his diatribe called My Twisted World to a couple dozen people, including his mother and father, not long before terrorizing the UC Santa Barbara campus. He wrote, I will kill them all and make them suffer, just as they have made me suffer. It is only fair. Roger's mother, Lichen, discovered the terrifying threat in her email at 9:17 that evening. She then discovered her son's last YouTube video titled Retribution.
And I will slaughter every single spoiled, stuck-up, blonde I see inside there.
Lichen then...
I guarantee you this Elliot kid was a porn consumer. I guarantee it. And guys, if you want to cut it in the real world with real women, and you want to have confidence with women, you want to be able to look a woman in the eyes and have a real conversation with her that could lead to a date or some, possible future relationship. The quickest way to kill that, the quickest way to be crippled and paralyzed is to watch porn. Because if you're used to watching these women on camera and you have the standard of beauty that you get from pornography, when you get in the real world, you're opening yourself up to the possibility of rejection. These women on porn, they ain't going to reject you. These women on Pornhub and these camera tape, OnlyFans chicks, they're not going to reject you. You just paid them $500 to look at their body parts. You're their customer. So they're not going to reject you. They're not going to say, get away from me. I cringe. You're a loser. No, you just paid them money. Or you just invested time watching them in their videos, right? But real women in the real world, they're going to reject you more times than not. And if you're not equipped to deal with that, a lot of these guys turn out like Elliot Rodger and they shoot up women that reject them.
Called Roger's father at 911, the parents frantically racing to Santa Barbara from LA. Both parents en route when they heard the news.
Shots fired.
That they were too late.
This was a witness. It was a dark-colored BMW, white occupant, a male wearing a white shirt.
On Sunday, the ATF and county sheriff's office searched the mother's home. Astaire says Roger's parents...
So long story short, I'm not saying all Andrew Tate fans are like Elliot Rodger. I'm not saying that. But it taps into that vein of frustrated young men that are tired of getting rejected by women. And again, a lot of times, it's not like they get rejected by women every day. For most of these guys, they might have tried to mac on maybe 2 or 3 women. But to them, it feels like they got rejected 200 or 300 times because it's such a blow to their ego when they get rejected because they're not used to beautiful women rejecting them. Why? Because beautiful women in pornography don't reject you. Beautiful women on OnlyFans don't reject you because you're their customers. If you're watching them on porn, you're paying them with your time and your attention. If you're watching them on OnlyFans, you're paying them with your time and your attention and your money. So they ain't going to reject you. So it creates this false perception of what it's like to interact with a woman in a fake matrix world, by the way. Again, Andrew Tate's always talking about the matrix that enslaves men. The matrix that enslaves men that he needs to be railing against is the pornography industry. But he can't because that's how he made his millions. That's what made him the top G that he is. So, of course, he's not going to speak out against the very industry that made him rich. And if he's truly converted to Islam and he's this God-fearing religious man, then he should renounce all of his wealth. He should give it all away and start over making money in a different way. If he's truly repentant of that, that's what he should do. But I haven't seen him do that yet. Let's continue.
And think about his actions very carefully, and he's going to be a good man who protects for and provides for his family. You find a man who just acts out on impulse and does whatever he feels like, you're going to find a dangerous man.
Again, a man who acts out on impulse and does what he feels like is a man who watches porn when he gets horny, period. And you got rich off that.
Sitting here telling men to cry more and act with their feelings, and it's okay to feel this way, that way, etc., and have no self-control. That is why we have the problems we have in the world. Absolutely and utterly wrong. So when they talk about toxic masculinity, they have it completely inverse on its head, completely and utterly wrong. We need to be teaching stoicism. We need to be teaching young men to understand that the world is very, very difficult. It's hard to be a man. You're going to feel bad sometimes.
The world is difficult, especially the dating world. Ha! Have you tried it? It's a wasteland. And that's why a lot of men take refuge in the fake matrix of pornography that you created, that you got rich off of, right? Again, this is all hypocritical, what he's saying here. You got to be able to see through all the emotions and all the Superman clips and all the music and all. You got to see through that stuff, guys. And you got to be able to have the discernment of spirits to spot the serpent's tail. And I'm trying to show you where the serpent's tail is sticking out from underneath the table.
You just suck it up and perform anyway.
More music.
We live in a comfortable world now where people think, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. But you know what? To some degree, it does matter. It does matter, and I'll tell you who it matters to. It matters to your.
Wow, now they're playing. Who's that Christian group they're playing? Dun, 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 on the waters. Who is that group? That Christian group, guys. Now he's playing Christian contemporary music now.
Soul, and it matters to God. I stand in the mirror with a pure heart.
Hillsong. That's who it is. He's playing Hillsong, dude. A pornographer playing Hillsong in a propaganda video he's doing before he gets locked up.
I know I am the best version of me that could possibly ever exist. I know that God is proud of me. There's nothing that God hates more than sloth and laziness. If God were to create a man...
Sloth and laziness is paying cam whores money instead of trying to get relationship with real women. I agree.
And that man were to sit around and do fuck all, God will frown upon
language.
You. Never
Language.
Start to work. Start to show God the beauty of his own creations. You'd be amazed how lucky you'll become. Okay, we talk about depression, anxiety. That comes from self-loathing.
No, and self-loathing is how you profit off your customers, man. Guys, watch my video from yesterday where I exposed Tate. Well, he really exposed himself. I just played the clip of him bragging about how he moosed men out of his money with his webcam girls. All those guys had depression and anxiety. I guarantee it.
Loathe your own weakness. You loathe your own laziness. This is what all of these things are. I don't feel depression. How can I feel depression when I'm the most powerful version of me that I could ever fucking be? How can I feel depression when I could squeeze my own hand hard enough to break my own bones? How can I feel depression when I've smashed and destroyed 68 people's faces in front of me, men who thought they could test me in fair combat? How can I feel depressed? It's impossible.
You're going to feel depressed when you're locked in jail, man, because I'm telling you, he's going to go to prison, guys. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Andrew Tate. I don't care who you are. Every man has his breaking point after a while. When you're locked in a jail cell, protecting your food from cockroaches and laying on a cold, hard floor, only have sunlight for 1 hour a day, I don't care who you are. That's going to depress you, and that's going to eventually break you, especially if you know that you're going to serve like a 10, 20, 30-year sentence. And I could see if you're locked up for 3 months, or let's say you're in the county jail for a couple nights, you know, had a little bit too much to drink, you get thrown in the drunk tank. I could see a temporary stint in jail. But if you're locked up for years or decades, trust me, man, the world's going to move on. The world's going to forget about you. And that's going to break anybody. Anybody would come depressed over that. Anybody would. Or you're not human if you don't.
But I love the idea of one.
Now, this music that's playing is the end of Avengers Endgame. See, this is the movie buff in me. This is Avengers Endgame after Tony Stark was killed. That's the music that's the music score they're playing here. Again, I know all the tricks, guys. I know all the tricks.
One day, perhaps in 50 years from now.
Okay, now this is the part of the propaganda that I want you guys to really pay attention to now. He's built up this narrative of what it's like to be a high-value man, a top G, suffer for people, all this stuff, right? Now comes the final sales pitch of, and this is what he's implying, So many words he's saying. I'm getting locked up. I want you guys to not forget about me after I go to jail for a long time.
But I love the idea of one day, perhaps in 50 years from now, one of my sons doing a stream about me, telling the things I used to say and how I had an impact on the world. Think about how the world is going to be in 50 years when they say, remember when Top G first came and he's the reason I got rich and he's the reason I went to the gym and they tried to ban him, but they couldn't. The story of Top G and the story of me is going to be a long and very, very interesting one. We're at the very beginning. We're at stage 1 of a 3-stage plan.
I hate everything that's going on. Like, love him with all my heart.
Yeah.
Like, I'll die on that mountain with you, bro.
Yeah.
Let's get on that hill.
So now these are male character witnesses. Now remember, in the beginning he had female character witnesses saying that he's innocent. Now he's recruiting male character witnesses. This is Justin Waller, who actually I think is, I like a lot of his real estate stuff. Although he got absolutely and utterly destroyed by Lila Rose on his notion of a high-value man can have multiple women, sleep with multiple women. Whatever woman you settle with has to be willing to share you with other women. She absolutely destroyed him on that. He got very triggered, very uncomfortable. Maybe I'll do a separate podcast on how she destroyed Justin Waller. It was true Grace under fire. He was cussing at her. He was disrespecting her. And she just kept assaulting him with well-crafted questions that just made him squirm. It was pretty cringe to watch, actually. Maybe I'll do a whole nother video on that.
Where's the sword?
Why is the enemy of the state, so to speak?
He's got the hearts of young men. He's got the hearts.
See, he's got the hearts of young men, like Elliot Rodger.
Young men.
I feel like men nowadays.
By the way, I should put a label on it. So these young men that are frustrated with women that have to turn to porn and have to turn to OnlyFans, they're what are called incels. That's another red pill term you guys should be familiar with. Incel stands for involuntarily celibate, meaning they really, really want to have sex. They really, really want to be with women, but they lack game, they lack confidence because they're probably looking at a lot of porn and stuff, and they can't cut it in the real world with women, and they're involuntary celibate, and it makes them mad. It makes them hate women. It makes them hate what they know they can't get. Okay, those are what are called incels.
And Andrew Tate, the guy who's motivating men to be men.
If you cannot control your own mind, then you go through life with zero control.
And if you cannot control your own mind, then you are going to pay my cam models for companionship. If you can't control your own mind, you're going to pay my OnlyFans models $500 to see their feet. Because I'm Andrew Tate and I'm a Top G and I famous dudes on camera. That's who he is, guys. Don't let it twist you. Listen, don't let clips of Lord of the Rings here, which is what this is. And don't let again, this is from Transformers Part 4 with Mark Wahlberg. That's the score he's playing here. Don't let the Transformers Part 4 movie score distract you from what he is truly saying.
Zero influence. You can't control anything. You're just a feather in the wind, waiting for life to blow you from happy place to sad place to happy place to sad place. Completely hoping on the gods to be fortunate to you, because if any genuine discomfort comes your way, you're fucked. It's so easy to win if you can control your own mind. But it seems that nobody fucking can. And that's how the people who run the world keep the world running. Because they have all the slaves exactly where they need them to be.
And that's how you kept your webcam studio running. You had all the sex addicts where they needed to be, paying your models, millions of dollars, loans, homes, all that stuff you said. You had them right where you needed them, right, Andrew?
Permanently distracted and semi-depressed, working their asses off in jobs which will never satisfy them and never pay enough money. That's the Matrix. Their asses off in jobs.
Very creative marketing. Look at this. He's talking about guys who hate their jobs. Then he shows a clip of a guy.
Permanently distracted and semi-depressed, working their asses off in jobs which will never satisfy them and never pay enough money. That's the
guy pounding his computer because he hates his job. Now, let me rephrase this. So imagine Andrew Tate's webcam customers frustrated at hot women that they know they can't get. This is footage
working
of
their asses off in jobs which will never satisfy them and never pay enough
Boom.
money. That's the Matrix.
He knows he can't get the model, so he bangs his keyboard and slaps it because he's tired of hot women rejecting him. Here it is. Remember Tate. That's what I want to show you. Remember Tate. Look at this, guys. Look at this. He's doing a memorial video of himself. Remember Tate. What does this mean, remember Tate? Guys, he knows he's going to jail, man. He knows he's going to jail. That's why this video ends by saying, remember Tate, because he knows he's going away for a very, very long time. And this is his swan song. He's trying to go out on top. He's trying to go out as a martyr. He's trying to hope the world. He is planting seeds that he hopes will grow while he's in prison, right? He is planting seeds that he hopes the world does not forget about him. How clearer can you get than a video ends that says, remember Tate? He is desperate, saying, please remember me, guys. Please don't forget about me. Don't you forget about me. That's what he's saying, guys. He knows he's going away, man. He knows they've had dirt on him since last April. And that's why he's been so hard at work on this media press tour of building the brand of the Top G. He's trying to get as many people into his Hustle as University as he can, many people in his war room as he can. He's trying to make as much money and acquire as much fame as he can so that when he's in prison for a really long time, his loved ones will be taken care of, but he'll also be taken care of too regarding his legacy of being remembered, not being forgotten. And that's why he's ending this video saying, remember Tate.
He's the reason I went to the gym, and they tried to ban him, but they couldn't. The story of Top G and the story of me is going to be a long and very, very interesting one. We're at the very beginning. We're at stage 1 of a 3-stage plan.
I hate everything that's going on. Like, love him with all my heart.
Yeah.
Like, I'll die on that mountain with you, bro.
Yeah.
Let's get on that hill. Where's the sword?
Why is the enemy of the state, so to speak?
He's got the hearts of young men. He's got the hearts of young men.
I feel like men nowadays need an Andrew Tate. It's a guy who's motivating men to be men.
If you cannot control your own mind, then you go through life with zero control, zero influence. You can't control anything. You're just a feather in the wind, waiting for life to blow you from happy place to sad place to happy place to sad place, completely hoping on the gods to be fortunate to you, because if any genuine discomfort comes your way, you're fucked. It's so easy to win if you can control your own mind, but it seems that nobody fucking can. And that's how the people who run the world keep the world running, because they have all the slaves exactly where they need them to be, permanently distracted and semi-depressed, working their asses off in jobs which will never satisfy them and never pay enough money. That's the Matrix.
Remember Tate. Please don't forget about me when I go to jail.
We are fighting a battle, and it's absolutely not really important because the battle is for your mind. And once you lose your mind, you don't get it back. One question is overwhelming the chat.
So I've been on here going on an hour and a half, guys. Had some very interesting commentary here. Interesting interaction. Again, Billy, I appreciate you for participating. Us having a man-to-man debate. I'm all about debating. Not to get off topic, but I do agree with the masculinity points that Andrew makes and how it's undertaken. 100%. Totally agree. Again, it's truth mixed with error. He says a lot of the right things to reel you in, but you have to guard yourself against some of the errors that are in there. So anyway, guys, please like this video, comment on it, share it. Again, it's not very popular. It's kind of ironic because Andrew Tate is all about thinking for yourself and going against the herd and going against the matrix. But again, he's kind of created his own matrix. Well, he's created two matrices. One, the first matrix he created was his webcam sex matrix that keeps men addicted to sex and pornography. That's the matrix that he created. That's the fake world of webcam models. That's a totally fake world. But the other matrix that he's created is this huge following of these young men, right? This huge following that anybody who dares speak against Andrew Tate is seen as a beta, as a cuck, as part of the matrix. It's almost like he's created his own matrix. He's created his own herd mentality that if you dare speak against, it's almost like they treat you the way they say the mainstream media treats everybody else. It's very unpopular to speak out against Andrew Tate, which kind of contradicts the whole thing that he stands for, right? Isn't he all about thinking for yourself? Isn't he all about swimming against the tide? Isn't he all about being red-pilled, meaning seeing things differently than everybody else sees them? Well, I see Tate differently than everybody else sees him. Again, I think he makes a lot of great points about self-development, self-improvement, getting in shape, confidence with women, all great stuff, all things that young men need to hear. But he also says a lot of other things that will lead men to spiritual death if they implement it. And maybe as time goes on, I'll do more videos on that. So again, I just thought I'd jump on, guys. More of a reaction video. I've never really done reaction videos before. I'm used to just giving my own original commentary on things. But I just thought I would hop on, guys. It's what everybody's talking about. I got bit by the bug. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next podcast. Take care.